nice way to shut us up.
Haven't had to use it very much this year. Okay, so let's start lying down. Oh. With our knees bent and resting in on one another. Soften the jaw and deepen the breath. Feeling the rise and the fall of the belly. Take a few minutes to connect with the earth, with the sun, the air, and the sea. Inhaling all of it. Let it circulate through your system. And fill you up. With each exhale, let the body relax. Settle in. Take your hands and rest them on your belly if that's comfortable for you. Perhaps with your thumbs touching over the top of your navel and the index fingers touching below the navel. That creates a diamond around your navel. And feel the rise and the fall of the belly. However slowly you're breathing, see if you can slow it down even more. Slower inhale. Slower exhale. At the top of the next breath, at the top of the inhale, hold it, pause for a moment, and then see if you can inhale some more. And see if you can inhale any more. And when your lungs are as full as they can possibly be, go ahead and slowly allow the air out. And at the bottom of the exhale, pause, and then see if you can expel any more air. And any more air. And then do another inhale the same way as that first time. So inhaling and pausing. And inhaling. some more and pausing until you're at your max. And then reverse as you exhale. At the bottom of the breath, pause and see if you can get any more air out and any more. And breathe like that a couple of more times. If your hands are still on your belly, you should feel substantial movement. If you're not, see if you can use the muscles more efficiently to allow the lungs to expand, and then invite them to contract. Notice what is involved with that simple process. And if you're not already doing it, on your next inhale, lift your lumbar curve a little bit more away from the ground. And on the exhale, lower the lumbar curve towards the ground and maybe even press it into the ground if that's okay for your lower back. The hands allow you to feel your pelvis rocking if they're on your belly. And then when you've completed the next exhale, return to a normal pattern of breathing. Let the arms come down alongside the body. Upright the knees, separate them a little bit so that they're as wide as the ankles. And simply wag the knees side to side gently. Softening the jaw. Noticing the pattern that's drawn on your sacrum from hip to hip, the line that's being drawn from left to right to left on the back side of the body. This is just a very gentle twist when we rock our knees side to side. Draw your attention to the bottoms of the feet. Don't necessarily do anything to change the movement, but feel the motion from left to right along the soles of the feet as the knees rock right to left to right. And upright the knees. If you have a blanket under your head that you don't need, go ahead and move it away and bring the arms alongside the body, palms facing down. Gently peel the spine off the ground, one vertebra at a time, lifting the pelvis off the ground and shifting the weight up towards your upper back more. And then begin to peel the spine back down onto the ground, one vertebra at a time. Trying to get each vertebra to touch, and then relaxing the sacrum. And finally, give a little tilt of your pelvis in the opposite direction, bringing the tailbone closer to the ground and deepening the back bend. And then curl your pubic bone up towards your navel and begin to peel the spine off of the ground again. Lift up. Feel more weight on the upper back. And then slowly round down. And when your pelvis is flat and relaxed, give a little tilt in the opposite direction, lifting the belly up a little bit more towards the sky. And then relax to center. Rotate your arms so the palms are facing up and the arms are alongside the body. And as you peel your spine off the ground, bring the arms overhead onto the ground behind you so that the palms are leading the way. And maybe your palms aren't going to make it to the ground because of the range of motion in your shoulders. It's perfectly okay to just go however far your arms will allow you to go. And then slowly lower down, bringing the backs of the hands down towards the ground. And just repeat that one more time, lifting the pelvis up and then the spine, bringing the palms up. So it's a little bit different arm rotation than we normally do these flowing bridges with, but it's kind of interesting to do something different. I'm all about different. And when you're resting on the ground, truly rest. And rotate your arms 1/4 of a turn so that the inside or the palms of your hands are facing the body or your hips, and the thumbs are facing up towards the sky. And then peel the spine up off the ground again, bringing the thumbs towards the ground overhead as far as your arms will allow you to go. And then slowly coming down. And then again, repeating the same thing, lifting the pelvis up, peeling the spine off the ground, bringing the thumbs up and over, and then back down so that the little finger is resting on the ground. And this time rest completely down. And rotate your arms 1/4 of a turn so the palms are facing down. Reestablish your feet if you want to, and go ahead and repeat the same thing, lifting up, peeling the spine off the ground, bringing the backs of the hands towards the ground. Watch out for the chair if it's there. Slowly coming down again. Notice what you have to do with your muscles in order to get each and every vertebra back down onto the ground. And one more time, same thing. So the backs of the hands are coming up and over. And then back down. And we're going to give it a try to internally rotate our arms even more so that our thumb rests on the ground, our index finger rests on the ground, and our palms are facing away from the body, and it feels very awkward. Try it, lifting up, bringing the little finger towards the ground. If your arms don't have that much inner rotation, it's okay. Just imagine you're doing it. And do what you can. Slowly come down. And then try it one more time. And come down. And release the arms to a comfortable place for your body. Shake them out if you want. Shrug your shoulders a little bit if they're tired. Walk the feet to the outside edges of the mat and open the arms out either to a low V or to a T to the side. Roll over to the outside of your left foot and the inside of your right foot so that the knees are facing to the left. And then press the foot down a little bit at a time, increments at a time, trying to get as much of the whole foot on the ground and then rolling over across the foot to the outside of the right foot and the inside of the left foot. The knees just come along. And then press your feet into the ground, trying to get as much contact and as much movement through the bones of the feet, the muscles of the feet, and the ankles as you bring the knees over to the left and then again to the right, pressing the foot, kind of dragging the whole thing with your ankles. And come up to center. And then let your knees move more freely side to side. Try to make it a smooth motion, not a jerky swinging motion. You're still a little bit in control, but there's more freedom of movement. Feel the movement happening out of the hip sockets. Feel the stretch happening in the hips. And if you're very observant, you might notice the draw or the pull of the muscles from one hip to the shoulder of the opposite side. So when my knees are to the left, I feel a pull from my right hip to my left shoulder. And the same thing on the other side. Left hip, right shoulder. And then upright the knees. Bring them into the chest one at a time. And bring both knees over to the left in a gentle twist. If you can get your outside leg, the left leg, all the way over to the ground, that's great to be able to rest. But try to keep your right shoulder on the ground. And if that's impossible, find your block, wherever it might be, and just pop it under your outside leg for support. I don't think I brought a block. Just a gentle twist here. And then one at a time, bring the knees through center and let both knees come over to the right. Same thing. Maybe the outsides of the legs can come over to the ground. Maybe they can't make it all the way over to the ground and they kind of have to hang out there in space. Or maybe you can support them with a block or the blanket. And one at a time, bring the knees up. You can repeat that particular way of doing a twist, or you can draw your knees further away from your chest, more over your hips, with the legs still together, and do the twist again so that the knees are further away from the torso. It changes the twist a little bit. And it certainly changes the amount of core you need to use to support the legs. One at a time, bring the knees up through center. Reposition them again wherever you chose, so either over the hips or closer to the ribs, and then bring them over to the other side. You may find all sorts of different limitations on this side than you had on with the knees further away. One at a time, bring the knees up to center. Bring the knees over to the left. You can stay here, or you can slide your top leg, in this case the right leg, along the ground, or the foot along the ground, backwards, bringing the right foot back over to the right side as much as you want. You can think about or try bringing your right hand down to your right foot, and then you can kind of scoot your right foot up towards your right hand, and you are in cattail. It's a deeper twist and a back bend, and it might not be for your body, so just do it if it feels good, and if it doesn't, imagine that you're doing it. And then slowly bring both knees upright and lift up your shoulder a little bit so that it's once again in line with the left one. Walk your feet in and bring both knees to whichever was your preparatory position, and the knees over to the right. So you can stay here with the knees close to the chest, further away from the chest, or you can begin to slide your left foot, sort of arc it back towards the left, keeping your knee bent, and slide it as far as it will comfortably go. So this is a quadricep stretch. Then if you lower your left hand down towards your left foot and inch your left foot more towards your left hand, you'll be in cattail pose. A half of a back bend, and a great stretch from the knee through the ribs. Breathe deeply and slowly come out of it, uprighting the knees and bringing the shoulders back in position. Bring the feet towards each other. Extend the legs long on the ground. Add a V. So heels might be as wide as the outside edges of the mat. Bring your arms overhead. Add a V if that's okay with your shoulders. Notice if your back starts peeling away from the ground when you bring your arms overhead. And if it does, contract the muscles around the front ribs, drawing them downwards a little bit. They don't have to press into the ground, but try not to let them arch too much. And then flex your feet and bring the right foot and left hand towards each other. And hold it. And slowly lower down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Contract your core. 2, 1, and pause. Just hover above the ground if you can, or take a break if it gets to be too much. And then slowly draw the foot and the hand towards each other, somewhere over your body again, up towards the sky, feeling the stretch in your hamstring and the back of your raised leg. And of course the core is working, and it'll work even harder as you lower your leg and arms, so you really want to engage that core, hugging all the muscles in towards your spine all the way around, and hover just above the ground, and then lower down. If your arms are sore, your shoulders are sore, just lower them down and get a little movement to them before you bring your arms back up. If your hips are tired, squeeze one buttock and then and change sides and squeeze the other buttock. That might help a little bit. And then re-engage your core, so lengthen the backs of your legs by flexing your feet. Bring your upper ribs down towards the mat more. That will help you engage your core. And then lift the left foot and the right hand towards each other. And feel the stretch in the back of the leg. Slowly lower down. 8, 7, 6. Engage your core. 5, 4, 3, 2, and hover. And bring them back up. Slowly. Feel the stretch. And then slowly lower down. 8, 7. Use your core. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hover. Don't let your lower back or your ribs peel away from the ground. And then relax down. Bring the arms alongside the body. Take a deep breath in and out. And then bring the knees in towards the chest. Rock side to side. And raise the feet up to the sky, straightening the legs as much as possible, using the core to support the weight of the legs. Point and flex your feet. Point and flex. Point and flex. Point and flex. Point and flex. Make as big a point and as big a flex as you're able to do so that you're getting a nice stretch, nice movement in your feet. Pause that and do some circles around your ankles. First in one direction. Notice your core, always inviting more and more muscles to come in and support, and then go in the other direction with the circles. And bend the knees and place the feet on the ground. Contract the right buttocks only and lift the right hip up off of the ground into a funky half bridge. And lower it down and do the other side, so lifting the left hip off of the ground. You'll roll a little bit to the right, that's okay. Change sides and do the right side again. And lower down, and then do the left side again. And lower down. Let's roll over onto our stomachs. And be in Sphinx pose. To stretch out the hip flexors. Press strong into your elbows. Have the shoulders far away from the ears. Soften the neck. Bring the chin slightly in towards your throat. Bend the right knee and slide it up as high as the hip. Keep it on the ground. And then look back and see that your right ankle is straight down from your right knee. And flex the right foot. So right here you have a right angle at your hip, at your knee, and at your ankle. This is called half frog, and you can stay here, or if you happen to have particularly open hips and you want more of a stretch in your hips, just slide your right knee further away from your body and you'll get a better stretch. Try not to let your shoulders come up around your ears. And then slide that leg long. And bring the left knee up as high as the hip. Look back to see that the right ankle is, or the left ankle is straight down from the left knee, and flex the foot. And again, if you're not getting enough stretch in your hip, just kind of try to slide that knee a little bit further away from the body, and you'll get there. if your lower back is distressed from being in this pose, see if you can just have a sense that you're trying to tuck your pubic bone up towards your navel. Just lengthening your lower back a teeny tiny bit should take a little bit of the stress out of it. If you have real lower back problems, this might not be the pose for you. If it hurts, don't do it. And then slide both legs long and roll over onto your right side, noticing that there's 3 ways to hold up, maybe even more, at least 3 ways to hold up your body. So you can be on your forearm with your shoulder far away from your ears, or you can come down and rest your head in your hand and be on your upper arm, or you can actually lower all the way down. And as far as I'm concerned, you can move between those if your shoulders or arms get tired. Okay? Our legs are stacked, and the left hand is here for support so that we don't roll forwards. Okay? So if you look down, see if your ankles are lined up with your knees, are lined up with your hips, and then you can't see, but are they lined up with your shoulders? Which is hard enough, right? Raise your right leg, raise your left leg and bring it forward and tap the ground. Raise it up and swing it all the way around back and touch it behind. And then raise it up and swing it forward. And raise it up and swing it back. And raise it up and swing it forward. And back. And forward. And back. And then stack them. Flex both feet. Just lean a little tiny bit forward into your left hand so that that's stabilizing for you. Use the strength of the gluteus medius muscle to raise the left leg up. So you aren't going to be able to go very high if you're actually squeezing that muscle. And then lower it. And up. And 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 hold it there. And do little pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And let's flip over to the other side. You can either flip or you can turn. Keeping in mind the different options of heights that I gave you. Just looking down to see that you're in pretty much alignment. And there's a real tendency in me, so I imagine with other people, to want to have your chest a little bit forward. And so see if you can imagine that your shoulders are directly up from your hips. Plant your right hand in the front so that you don't roll forwards, and if you're rolling just a tiny bit forwards, then you aren't going to roll backwards. Flex. How did I do that? Flex your foot.
Mm-hmm.
What did I do? Oh, I know, that's right. Raise it up and bring it to the front. Thank you. And then back. And I think we did that 5 times on the other side, so just so you know. 2. Focus on the gluteus medius muscle. You're using all sorts of glutes, large, medium, and small, but we're looking at the gluteus medius muscle because we use it to keep our knees wide. And then stack the feet and the ankles and the legs and raise the leg up. But a person could swing it up pretty easily and use lots of rib muscles and everything else, but what I'm asking you to do is more isolate the buttocks muscles right at your hip. Honor any hip issues that you might have. If you have had problems in the past, go easy. And the next time that the leg is up, did I do pulses last time? Mm-hmm. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And that's the end of that. Come to seated. And sit in a cross-legged position if you're able. Don't worry if you can't. Just should feel good right now. Rock a little bit. Put your feet out to the side like this. Put your arms on the insides and lean forward and walk your hands out. So not everybody's going to be able to do it at all, and some people are going to be able to probably get their chest all the way to the ground. Not me though. And if you want, lean back. Have your hands free. And stop. I think that's called flower pose.
Not crow?
Huh?
Not crow?
No.
What's the sound you made?
That's the sound you made.
Crow is one of more like in a tripod. Let's come up to standing and grab your chair. And bring it to the front of the mat with the seat facing you.
You want the chair?
Huh?
Yeah, there's no more chairs.
There are. They're just not very nice. So here, you take this one.
There's one right here.
No,
There's one right
it's
here.
Oh, she's got one.
Okay. Oh.
It's just hidden. I mean, it's not hidden, but it was hidden from you. And turn your chair the other way, Darlene, so that your hands can be on the chair seat.
Yep.
So most of you have done this with me before, this series. We're going to place our hands on the chair and step quite far back. And then bring our bottom down, and we'll be in plank pose. It's a modified plank pose. It's kind of easier than regular plank pose. And then if we use our stomach muscles and what else are we using? Yep, mostly just our core muscles. Squeeze everything together, press into your hands and draw your shoulders back, bring your butt back, and you're in downward facing dog. Readjust your feet if they're not in the right position, and then shift your weight forward again into another plank pose. Inhale here, and shift your weight back to downward facing dog. Shift the weight forward into plank and hold it. And at least imagine that the back of your head is in alignment with the backs of your shoulder. And that is in alignment with your tailbone, which is in alignment with your heels. Now, not everybody's is probably like that. That's okay, but imagine it. Use the strength of the core to support your whole spine. And if you can, lift your right foot up off of the ground an inch. And if you can't, imagine you're doing it. Or just begin the motion. And lower that down and try the other side. Use your core. Lower that foot down and walk your feet forward. Slowly come up. Now, when we do stuff on our wrists, I stop a lot because my wrists hurt, so I figure somebody else's do too. Did don't necessarily stop after every little thing in traditional yoga. Come back into plank pose. So your heels can't touch the ground, right? And then try to get the heels to touch the ground. Just press the heels down, stretching the backs of the legs. Use your front core a lot. And then raise your right foot up off of the ground and step your right foot forward all the way. Bending your right knee, rested into the chair, and you should not be able to see your right foot. If you want, because you might be too far back, you can just hop your back foot forward a tiny bit so that you have a stable back foot. And now what we're going to do is lift your right knee up towards your chest, keeping contact with the shin onto the chair the whole time. So the shin slides along the seat of the chair, raising the knee up, and then sliding it back down, recognizing that you may not get your knee anywhere close to your chest, or you might get it up there. Just keep on trying. Repeating, let's repeat it 5 times. Check that you're in alignment and that your right hip isn't hanging out to the side. If 5 is too many, take a break. We're working our front core and hip flexors. And when you've done 5, walk forward and come up. Shake the wrists out. My daughter was a gymnast, and she used to do this. They all did this to relax their wrists, and they did a lot of wrist stuff, so I think it works. And then come back into plank pose. Step, raise your left leg and bring it forward so that your knee is bent and resting into the seat of the chair, and you can't see your foot. You want your ankle straight down from your knee. Hop your back foot forward a little bit if you need to have a little bit more stability with that back leg. And then slide the shin up, keeping in contact with the chair if you can, and slide it back down. Inhale as the foot comes down, exhale as you bring it up. Breathe. 4. And 5. And walk forward. Slowly come up. Work out your wrists. Interlace your fingers behind your back, round your shoulders around, do a little back bend. And raise your hands away from your back if you want. Release and come up, and then bring the arms overhead. Interlace the fingers, turn them inside out, and press them away. And release. Set the chair off to the side. Cross your right foot or right leg in front of your left leg, and see if you can find a way to touch the outsides of the feet someplace. So maybe you are able to bring them all the way together, and maybe it's just barely together, and it doesn't matter. I mean, do as much as you can, but you're not being graded. So you can stay here and just work on the balance, or you can bring your arms overhead. Press strong into both feet. So there's a tendency to mostly put the weight on the foot that isn't, the foot that's in back. If you're good here, sway a little bit side to side. Inhaling and exhaling. You don't have to go fast. And upright, bring the arms down, undo the feet, shake the legs out, and we'll change sides. So now bringing the left foot across. So finding the balance here first. And the closer the feet are together, the harder the balance is. So if it's impossible for you, try separating them a little bit more. And then bring your arms overhead if that works. And then if you want, sway side to side. Center, lower the arms down and undo the legs, shake them out. Turn your chair so that the back of the chair is facing your body. So we're going to move into Warrior 3. And there's a lot of different levels. Find your level and stick with that, or go to the very next level and just try it a little bit. Stand on or balance on your left foot and send your right foot back, internally rotating it so the knee is facing straight down, and then pressing strong into your left leg so that the hip can be long and strong. Feel the weight evenly distributed between the base of the big toe, the base of the little toe, and the whole heel. The arch is just slightly strong and lifting up off of the ground. You can stay here, or you can lift your back leg up some, or you can begin to pivot at your hips, bringing your chest down at the same rate that you're bringing your leg up. You can keep your hands on the back of the chair the way they are, or you can bring them to the seat of the chair if your leg can come up high enough so that you're kind of straight from your head to your leg, through your leg. Or you can bring your hands up off of the chair into full Warrior 3 pose, or fuller Warrior, I can't do it and talk at the same time. You can also interlace your fingers except for your index finger and do full Warrior 3 if you want. Keep the back leg high. And then slowly release. And breathe. And then change sides. Extending the left leg back. Lifting it up off of the ground. Perfectly fine to stay here. In fact, it's perfectly fine to keep your foot on the ground a little bit if you want. It takes a lot of buttocks and back leg muscles to hold that leg up. Or pivot at the hips, lifting the leg at the same rate that you're lowering your chest. Or you can bring your hands to the seat of the chair. That will give you an opportunity to keep the chest high still. Or bring the arms straight out and do a balancing pose. And relax down. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Awesome. And let's sit in the chair. Just inhale the arms up. And exhale and do a forward fold. Done a lot of back bends, and I just felt like maybe we want to give our lower backs and buttocks a break. Let your head hang down. And breathe. Lift just the head up, and then the shoulders, and then come up with a flat back as much as possible, circling the arms up and down. Cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh, flexing the foot, lengthening the spine. Feel the sitting bones in the chair. Feel the spine floating up towards the sky. The chin is back towards your throat and down so that the neck is long. Little bit of a contraction in the posterior deltoids, the muscles in the back of your shoulders that will help to bring them back so they don't round forward. Keep your chest lifted and bring your belly down towards your thighs. And don't worry if you don't bring the belly down very far. It's not about how far you go forward, it's how much of a stretch you feel in your crossed, in this case, right hip. But what we're looking for is a straight back. Every once in a while, just come up a little bit and lengthen the spine all the way through the neck, and then lead with the chest again. Try to relax the muscles around the hip so that they're not resisting the motion. And then slowly come up and change sides. So left ankle is crossed over the right thigh. Press into the sitting bones, let the spine be long, and the back of the neck is part of the spine. So we bring our chin back a little bit and down. And then we can hinge forward at the hip some. Check your shoulders and make sure they're back. If it's hard for you to do, you can reach your arms around back and just rest the fingers a little bit at the back of the chair. And that will remind you to keep the shoulders back. And then come out of it a little bit, lengthen the spine, and then hinge forward again. And slowly come up. Come to the front third of the chair. Raise the arms up. Reconfigure your feet so that when you stand up, you don't fall over. Hinge forward. And just stand up. Slowly stand up. Bend at the hips. Start bending the knees and send your buttocks back, reaching your tailbone for the back of the chair as you come down. And when you're almost to the seat, try to hover. See how low you can go without sitting. Check your gluteus medius muscles that we were working earlier and see if they're engaged so the knees are wide. And then sit down and bring the arms back, stretching the chest. And lower down. Shake them out. Bring the arms up again on the inhale. Hinge forward. Peel the buttocks off of the chair and shift the weight back. Reach your tailbone for the back of the chair. And slowly press the weight into the feet, coming to standing position, feeling the legs working. And then back down. Reaching your tailbone for the back of the chair so the knees can be over the ankles. And slowly sit. And shake the arms out. And come to standing. chair off to the side. Stand wide to the side of your mat with the toes facing out. Bring the arms overhead into a 5-pointed star, so they're at a V. Engage your gluteus medius muscles. Bend the knees and bring the elbows in towards the ribs. Keep the hands wide still. Keep your knees as wide as you can. And then press your legs up as you press your arms out. Inhale here. Exhale, bring the elbows in towards the ribs. Keep the knees wide as you bend them. Inhale, press out. Couple more times. If your muscles are contracted and you're moving through that contraction, which is kind of what's happening here, when we press, we're contracting our muscles and moving through it. I found out that's called isotonic contraction. And I'm sure you're all glad that you know that. And press. Lower the arms down. Walk the feet in a tiny bit so that you have a little bit more stability. Do that again. Bending the knees, bring the elbows in. This time we're going to put all of our weight to the left foot and just come up on the right toe as we come up. Inhale here. Exhale back through center. Inhale as you come up on the right foot and the left toe. And do that again. So you got it. And to the right side. The next time, you can repeat either of those first two, or you can try to lift your right foot up off the ground and then go back through center and lift your left foot up off the ground. Do it again, because the body does get used to the movement. It gets a little bit easier maybe. And then the next time, try to hold it in a balancing pose. And come down when you're ready and try to hold it in a balancing pose on the other side. You can take your time and relax down. Shake it out. And we'll come down onto the mat. Set up your chair for shade if you want. Where is that precious shade? Come all the way down onto the back. And bring the knees into the chest. Rest your fingertips underneath your knees or on your shins and rock side to side. Come to center. Put your fingers on the insides of both knees. Your right hand on the inside of your right knee, left hand inside of your left knee. Press them wide. So you're in a half of a V pose. And then lift the feet up towards the sky, trying to keep the ankles at least as wide as the knees if that's possible. And then you can use the weight of your hands to press your thighs down a little bit more if you want. So here we are in a sort of a modified happy baby. You can stay here and rock, or you can slide your hands up the outsides of your legs to grab onto the outsides of your feet and do the happy baby pose from there. If you're reaching up, make sure that your shoulders are relaxed down towards or onto the ground. And rock as freely as you would like. And come to center. You can stay there, or you can try to do a full V, hanging on to just the big toe, so straightening the knees and opening the legs out wide, or not holding onto the feet and just having your legs stretched out wide in a V, or having your knees bent. If you're in a V, you can try rocking side to side again. And then bring the knees together and the feet down onto the ground. Arms somewhere alongside the body. Just rock the knees a little bit side to side again. Come to center. Try a couple pelvic rocks. It's a little bit different sensation when the knees and feet are together. So in order to do a pelvic rock, it's lifting and lowering the tailbone or lifting and lowering the lumbar curve. Then find a center position and open the knees wide into butterfly pose. And we'll just hold it here for a moment because we've done a lot of hip openers today. Rock your hips forward and backward again in a gentle pelvic rock. And then slide one ankle along the ground, straightening one leg. Slide the other ankle along the ground, straightening that leg. And upright the feet. Walk the heels a little bit away from each other. And internally rotate both legs so the toes are facing each other a little bit. Your knees may, the backs of the knees may be off the ground. And relax. Point and flex the toes a couple times. You might have to bend your knees in order to make that happen. And then flex one while you're pointing the other one and alternate between that. And relax the legs. Reach your right, just slide your whole right arm along the ground downwards towards your right foot a little bit. So you're in a side bend. And then come up through center and do the same thing to the left, sliding the left shoulder and left arm along the ground as if you're trying to scratch your knee. And then come up to center. Raise your arms up towards the sky, shake them out. Hold the arms up there softly and reach your right arm higher for the sky, to the sky. And then lower it down and reach the left arm up to the sky. Feel the whole back of the left shoulder lift up off of the ground. And then as you bring the arm back down, the shoulder comes down onto the ground. And try it again. Reach with the right arm and down, and the left arm and down, and float the arms down alongside the body. Hug the shoulders up around the ears and squeeze the neck muscles and the shoulder muscles, and slide the shoulders back down to a comfortable position, as if your head were a globe. Rotate your head on the axis of your spine to the right. And you might have to kind of lift it up slightly off of the ground so you don't pull your hair too much. And then rest your head so that you're looking a little bit to the right. Try to relax it. And then do a very gentle, small nod yes with your head rotated to the right. Very gentle. And then come to a center position and rotate your head on the axis of the spine through center and over to the left. Doesn't have to be far. And then try to relax the muscles. Notice the difference between the two sides, because usually the neck muscles in one side of our neck are a lot tighter than the other. Once you've relaxed your head, see if you can just do very gentle yes motion, getting a little bit of a cranial massage here. And then rotate to center. Move your jaw forwards and backwards, also very gently, very slowly. And relax the jaw. Wiggle your nose like a bunny. And relax that. Raise your eyebrows towards your forehead. And relax that. Deepen the breath. Feel the weight of the body resting into the ground. Feel the ground cradling your body. As we rest in final Shavasana for about 5 minutes. peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the gentle night to you. Moon and stars pour their healing light on you. Deep peace of the sleeping stones to you. Deep peace of the wandering wind to you. Pure blue of the open skies to you. Pure red of the whirling flame to you. Pure white of the silver moon to you. Pure green of the emerald grass to you. Collecting all of the peace flowing through and around you. Let's send it out to share with others. Breathing deep. Bringing small movements back to the body, followed by larger movements. And when you're ready, bring yourself to seated position. And with the hands at heart center or resting on the thighs, we'll chant 3 final ohms together to close our practice, sending out more additional vibrations and prayers and thoughts of peace and harmony and well-being so that others might benefit from the practice as we have today. Let's inhale deeply and exhale and inhale. Inhale. And harmonize if you'd like, inhaling. Well, it's not even the last day. The light and the love within me recognizes and honors the light and the love within you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Sherry.
We love
Guys.
Sherry.
I love
Miss
you.
you.
Woo.